Fundamentally, we are working in partnership with Kainos. We've got a contract with Kainos as our development partner, but we've set up the relationship very much as a kind of hybrid team. So we've tried as much as possible to remove the barrier or distinction between people that are on the team from Kainos, people are on the team from DHCW, but within that, trying to retain a kind of intelligent client function so that we've got a core team of people that actually commission the work and Kainos doing the kind of development activity, but working within that hybrid team for us. Hybrid working, hybrid teams has been used, but I guess there's a kind of spectrum with particularly IT type projects where typically you'll write a business case, you'll run the procurement for a particular set of requirements for a particular system, and then you'll procure that system, and that's the kind of one end of the spectrum where you're buying in a solution, maybe having it tailored a little bit. And then at the other end of the spectrum, you can build something in-house, you can employ developers and develop the software and have an application that you've built yourself. On that spectrum, we're kind of towards the right. So you can be sort of more towards the left where you buy a system but it needs quite a lot of tweaking, so you buy a lot of consultancy work or development work with the system. You could just contract out the development of a system and the specification, have it built, purpose built, which tends to be the most difficult and expensive and high risk approach. Or you can do what we've done, where you actually create this hybrid team and start with a piece of software like the NHS app from England with a code base. And we were fortunate enough actually that the team that won our procurement had worked on that particular code base. So we got a copy of the code base from NHS Digital, they were familiar with it, and they started with that to create the thing that we need here in Wales. Where it differs slightly is the vision for DSPP is to create a technical ecosystem of plug and play where multiple different suppliers can provide their service offerings. And they have that to an extent in England, but they have it at a higher level. So in England, companies tend to be PHR, patient health records, and they sit under the NHS app in England, and a particular trust or health area, health board will procure a contract with a particular public health, patient health record, PHR supplier like PKB, and that will be it. PKB will then deliver all of the PHR for an individual. In Wales, we've disaggregated a little bit, and we've got a slightly richer application sitting over the top and more opportunity for specialist innovation, for specific presentation of information. So where it's a generic service and there's nothing special about it, like booking an appointment, that will be part of the core application. But where it's perhaps presenting a test result in a particular clinical specialty, where there's a need for a lot of subject matter expertise to contextualise the test result, then that might be supported by a third-party application, and it might be a different application in North of Wales and South of Wales. So PSA testing might be one example where a particular piece of software can be used to help people self-test and record their results, but it might be patients know best in one area, it might be my medical record in another area, it could be another piece of software in another area, and we've got that ability to switch in and out different suppliers at a more macro level, which creates a vibrant marketplace, lots of innovation, but reduces the commercial challenges and the risk of supplier lock-in, which I think is slightly a risk with the NHS England approach, where one supplier provides everything. In terms of the service change within DHCW, it illustrates a way of working that I think can be particularly beneficial, because you kind of differentiate that subject matter expertise and intelligent client function and cement that within DHCW, where you need the expertise and the links to stakeholders, from the expertise in terms of the development of the software and working in agile fashion, building solutions in a certain way and bringing that kind of agile and rapid pace to the development. So you've got a kind of immediate split of the appropriate skills in the appropriate place, and I think that's something that DHCW can build on and learn from. But more than that, it kind of illustrates this hybrid partnership working, and one of the things that's relatively unique about the way we set it up with Kainos and with the DSPP programme and the NHS Wales app is that the external resource from Kainos that we are using actually work on software and in a software development environment that is owned and operated and set up by DHCW. So not only have they brought their expertise, but they're using largely DHCW tools. So the DevOps environment, Microsoft DevOps environment, they're using that under the license of DHCW. Whereas traditionally what would have happened is the external company that had the contract to build would use their own tools completely, and they'd build it themselves and then ship it across when it's ready. Doing it this way, anyone in DHCW can delve into that DevOps environment, the Confluence environment. They can see the work in progress. They can access the code if they've got the right kind of permissions. So there's a lot more opportunity for skills transfer and for fluidity between external people coming in and working on bits of the solution and then switching that off and someone else coming in and working on it. And we can decouple some of the dependency on particular suppliers, so it allows you to be more commercially flexible in terms of how you pay for which bits of the development.